And good evening, everyone. We are all here with Max, the anachronist. I said that right, didn't
I think so. Yeah,
I?
for an
Hey, there
invented
you
word.
So Max is here. We're going to talk watches this evening with the normal crew, myself, Blake, Jen, Nate, and Mitch. And we'll have at the end of the show a couple of unboxings. Ooh, Mitch has an unboxing, and Nate, you've got one too, right?
I do.
So I
I
have a
have a
couple of
surprise unboxing.
brand new watch unboxings. Yes. Nate, the man who, after he got his AP 2 weeks ago, said, well, that's all for me. Apparently not.
You already sell it? You get rid of it?
No,
Yeah,
I still have it. Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay. No, that's right. You wore it today, didn't you?
It's
yesterday.
longer than some of the
Yesterday.
other ones.
That's true. But Max, thank you so much for being with us this evening. I've known who you are since I joined Watch Crunch about 3-4 years ago, and so it's nice to see you still around, out on your own, selling some straps and having your own YouTube channel on the Anachronist, and we're going to talk about all of that. First of all, let's see what's on everybody's wrist. Max, what's on your wrist this evening?
Well, I have the watch that you guys requested. The
the Tudor. That's
custom
right.
Tudor Black Bay 54.
And tell me a little bit about what you did to that watch, if for those people who haven't seen a video on it.
To sum it up, I think I ruined it. I was, I was trying to recreate, I think, what Tudor was aiming for, and couldn't deliver because of their restrictions from Rolex. And so mainly, I really wanted to do the hand swap from the Snowflake to the Mercedes hand. Ever since I saw that channel True Patina do it, it's been on my mind. Obviously, he's a real watchmaker. I'm what I call a watch masher. And but
That's like me.
but after you mash a few dozen Seikos, you just have to delve into the Swiss. And yeah, I sourced some hands and got some bravery one day and decided that I was gonna dunk it in some coffee, and I documented all of this on the latest YouTube video. But anyway, swap the hand so that it looks more like the watch that this is actually an homage of. And then through my research, found a bezel that had brought back the little red triangle, which for me was always like just like the je ne sais quoi of the Black Bays. And I think people on the internet mostly like it.
Yeah, you've actually got a couple of folks. I know JJ, who owns the channel, the Watch Hangout channel. JJ is actually looking for a Black Bay to do exactly what you just did. Except he's going to keep the hands. He's going to keep the Mercedes hands white. He's not going to do the patina thing.
Okay.
But he wants to do that everything else. And I think there's a couple other people I've seen in the group that say, "Hey, man, I think that'd be something cool to do."
I think this could be a business if someone wants to start it. But I think, yeah, my surprise was when we cracked open the case, it didn't look any more complex than a Seiko. A couple of screws holding the movement down. There was clearly a little button you can push to get the crown out. There was really very little snags.
What if you
we have
the case and there was a Miota 8 series in there?
I wouldn't be surprised with my track record.
Let's see what else is on the wrist of everybody else. We'll go to our very own watchmaker, not watch smasher, Jen, who would probably agree with me when I say I'm the watch smasher, because she got one of my victims in yesterday and she's putting it back together. But hi, Jen. Oh, your mic's muted, but you have another Universal Genève. There we go.
Sorry, I hit the button. Howdy, everybody. Yep, rocking the Universal Genève from
one of many.
1940 something, probably. So yeah.
Yeah, and let's find out what is on man Nate's wrist this evening. What do we got this evening?
I'm wearing the Mad 1S Summer Edition that just came out.
There we go. We have our man Mitch, who has, I bet I know what watch you have on since you're doing an unboxing.
You would be incorrect.
Oh, well, excuse me.
We gotta throw a curveball every now and then,
Yeah.
even a minor curveball. So I went from the Marine Corps to the Navy SEAls.
There you go. No Marine watch, the Navy SEAL watch.
Luminox. And both were started by the same guy.
Yeah, and we'll tell Max that whenever Mitch has an unboxing, his first watch on is usually a Marine Corps watch, but tonight it's the Navy, so we were spreading it around. Blake, what's on the wrist?
The Nomos with the fun back.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, neat.
Very, very nice.
Oh, dang.
And I've just got on the Squale this evening, which everybody has seen before, so we don't need to see that again because everybody knows what it is. Max, let me go back to the Tudor. What gave you the confidence to say, hey, I've got a watch that's about $3,500. I'm going to bust this thing open? I mean, because I would look at that and I would say, I'm never touching that as long as I live.
I think confidence is about the most generous word that you could use. But, I think we just make so many watch videos that at some point we just decide. I think I go back to that line from Fight Club. I just want to destroy something beautiful tonight. I have to say it wasn't without lots of trepidation and butt clenching. What we didn't show in the video was just many pauses where we had to hyperventilate, high five each other, curse, and scream. But one thing led to another, and at some point, when the hand is in the coffee mug, you're sort of at a point of no return, and you just hope that something comes of it. And I like to say, we do it for the love of the game, and there's plenty of times when things didn't turn out to be a publishable video. Let's just put it that way.
Well, we want to welcome in our folks watching this evening. We have Emmarine watching, a new person to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. We got Skylar Santana in the building. Welcome, Skylar. Thank you so much. We've got Caliber YQG watching. We have my old friend John Wiegand from Seguin, Texas, watching this evening. We have Noctua watches also watching this evening. And let's see, who am I missing? I know Nerd with Swag. We got Aaron Fletcher. Hello there. From Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Let's see. Oh, there's Nerd with Swag. Hello, Swaggy. Glad you're here. And that's who we have so far that's in the chat anyway. We want to remind you that we'll also, by the end of the show, be doing a race. And you know what it takes to get into the race. If you don't know what it takes a super chat or a member chat or one of the member milestone chats or all of those kind of things will get you in the race tonight. We'll also pick somebody at the end of the show for a free entry. So we'll keep it all nice and even there. And so make sure to get those chats, super chats, member chats, all of that stuff in, and we'll get you into the race before the end of the show. And good evening, Ryan Hofrey. Thank you for being here this evening as well. Ryan, let's see, what did he say?
He wants to see
got to see more of a close-up of that Nomos caliber. We'll do that real quick.
Look at
there
that
we go,
snailing
Ryan.
on those wheels. So beautiful.
Yeah, when I picked this up, my wife I got this. Me and my wife were in Istanbul, and I walk through the mall and I see Nomos in the shop there. I was like, oh shit, I've never seen one of these before. This was a long time ago. And then my wife snuck back and bought it, and they gave her I guess whoever calculated the price, because when you buy a watch in Istanbul, there's usually get a 20% discount. Then you get 13.5% VAT back. So you get it pretty freaking close, almost 35% off. and they calculated the price of the solid case back, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So like, I realized this after the fact when I saw my wife use my debit card for it. So
There you go.
Can I ask a question
your
about that?
debit card.
Actually? Maybe Jen can shed some light on this. I've actually tried to open up a Nomos Orion, I think, and I realized that they were constructed differently than what I'm used to. Like you pop open the case back, and I think it was just kind of like a friction sealed thing, and then it looked like the movement couldn't come out the back. It looked like the movement maybe went in from the front, and the dial then went on top.
So I had that exact problem with this watch right here. This is a Bernese Moonface. Beautiful watch. I could not. I spent almost a week and a half trying to figure out how to get this thing out. I thought that because in the back, it does, like you said, it looks like there's just like a metal retaining ring that you should be able to, pop out, and then the movement would come out. Well, come to find out, you have to come in from the front of the watch. You have to undo the case clamps on the back first. Then you have to come in from the front and lift the movement out the front. And I don't understand why they do it. Like, this dial is insane. Like, the guilloche on this thing is nuts. Why would you want to risk that by making somebody come in the front? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I'll give this tip. I'm not going to take financial responsibility for this. If you choose to do this is on your own. You can take a razor blade and slide it in that gap. And I did it like right here where the lugs are. And you can use that as leverage and kind of work your way around and work it up and pop it off. Because to even use, I would not use one of those
like case knives.
That and one of those bezel tools. Those things are they're like a guillotine for watches. It's not a good thing. Okay. There's just not enough control over it. So I preferred using the razor blade because it actually gave me a lot more control, and I didn't have to worry about, nicking and dinging everything up. And it made it a lot easier. But yeah, once I figured that out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a pain, but it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
I ain't touching it. No screws.
No, I'm not touching it unless I send it to Jen. That's my motto.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, well, we'll have more boxes coming your way soon. Don't worry. As I said at the beginning, the kind of the first place I saw you was on Watch Crunch, and I think we actually texted once or twice on Watch Crunch as well, on that platform. Tell me a little bit about, you were brought in to build the platform, correct?
Yes, I was brought in the early days to kind of be the face of it, I think. I had already had a YouTube channel that had taken on a few names, as much, just like I like to tweak my watches, I like to tweak my channels. And I think initially, what was it? Anyway, the name that I had before Watch Crunch was Hot Ones, HAUTE ones.
Yeah.
And then I met these guys and they showed me this product they were developing, and I loved it because I thought, man, like a watch nerd app where we can hang out and do our watch things without kind of having to interact with the rest of, say, Reddit or Instagram. That sounded great to me. And then kind of rebranded everything over with time, and that's how we got started. I think at this point 4-ish years ago.
And you've gone from there to, I mean, you've been busy. You've started your own strap company. Tell me how you decided to move in that direction, and how you came up with the whole Zero Pass fabric strap concept?
So fabric and leather, but I think it. So okay, I'm the backstory is I'm kind of a failed engineer. I wanted to do mechanical engineering in college until I hit, I think it was like differential equations or something, higher level math, and I realized that that I go against a lot of stereotypes, and one of them is that they look like hieroglyphics to me, and so. Uh, I I survived the semester copying, my roommate's homework and decided maybe engineering wasn't for me. But I think that part of me has always existed, and I grew up working on bikes and cars, and I have to say watches comparatively, and obviously not to not to sort of minimize what Jen does, but at my level, right, at the Seiko level, is a lot faster. We'll put it that way. To build a car takes months, but you can potentially kind of assemble a watch in a day. And so that immediate gratification really drew me to it. And so I'm always tinkering, right? And so I love NATO straps. And I had a whole drawer of them, but it was one of those experiences where I would put it on, really love the aesthetics of it and the history of it. And then the moment I sort of turned it sideways and saw the watch kind of lifted off my wrist, it would just be a disappointment. And so for a couple years, my brain kind of just cooked this problem in the background. And then one night, this is not dramatized. It was the night that I got COVID in retrospect. I sort of woke up feeling kind of strange at like 3 a.m. And
Fever
I
dream?
think my brain, yeah, it was a fever dream. And my brain was like, oh, I think I solved it. And so I just grabbed a bunch of like old leather straps, my Dremel, and just went to town in my living room. By 5:30, I had this thing on my wrist, and then went back to bed. And when I woke up, I said, oh, I think we have something here. And so, yeah, I mean, I can, for you guys who haven't sort of followed the journey. So if you look at the watch, I mean, it just, that looks like a NATO, right? But people
Yeah.
always kind of have a bit of a double take when you lift up the watch and you realize that there's nothing between the watch and your wrist, and that's because of the way that we route this strap, which is now officially patented as of January. So the strap is donned like that, okay? And then you put your wrist through it. You do this little shimmy, and then there's a keeper that's stitched into the strap here, and you feed the strap through that keeper, and then you just close it like a normal NATO. Voila.
Wow,
They're pretty slick.
that's amazing. And the thing that I like is, people always say that those kind of straps, oh, you've got all these backup systems to where if the spring bar breaks, it's not going to fall off. It seems like that system is more secure than a traditional strap like that.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, it seems that way.
I think there's definitely the aspect of that redundancy that you get with a NATO, because you have the original kind of dual pass NATOs, and then you have the single pass, and then now you have the zero pass. And just like any two-piece watch strap, even a bracelet, if a spring bar breaks, like if you pull on this, with 1,000 pounds of force and break one of the spring bars, this is just going to fall off, because that's the trade-off, right? Like without the strap going under the watch, you don't
Gotcha.
get that redundancy where if a spring bar breaks, the watch stays on your wrist. And that's the trade-off I decided that I can take, because I'm not special forces. And if you are, don't wear a zero pass. Actually, you know what? We just got this email last week, and it was great. It was actually a guy in the military, and he said, "I love your strap." He's a diver. He said, "I love your strap because I wear it the way that you recommend when I just do it normally. When I dive, I undo it and actually use it as a single pass around around the wetsuit because my strap is actually much longer when you pull it straight than a normal strap. So I guess I have a built-in diver's extension.
Hey, look at that. Now that's pretty cool. That's a nice story. So, I mean, I think you've been pretty successful with it, right? I mean, lots of people are getting them.
Yeah, I think, just like any new sort of invention, you have this waves of, you have like the early adopters, and then kind of we launched about 2.5, 3 years ago. And it's pretty amazing to see just the response. Initially, there was a lot of skeptics. And then the second year and the third year, I think more and more people who actually kind of get it on the wrist are realizing that that's a trade-off that makes a lot of sense for day-to-day wear.
And you go from there to obviously rebranding your channel, The Anachronist. Where did that come from, Anachronist?
Well, we had not such a sort of amicable departure from Watch Crunch.
Right.
And Anachronist, part of the Anachronist was always something that I had in my mind. I would have taken the channel if I wasn't kind of beholden to another brand. And it just got to a point where sort of the stipulations that were put on me were too much to bear. And I just needed to kind of get back to freedom because ultimately, like, the watch thing is just fun and games for me, right? It's not my day job. It allows me to kind of do the engineer, to kind of exercise that engineer part of my brain. And so, over time, I had kind of gathered a little group of people, like other creators, other just watch friends who have kind of started to fall into, the black hole that is, my little YouTube channel. And so we just kind of got together and chatted and decided that we wanted to kind of be completely independent and just do what we think is fun, and talk about what we think is fun. And so, yeah, about a year ago, we just kind of pitched everything over to Anachronist, and that's a word I made up. I guess, like, there's the SAT word anachronism, which is I guess it's like a good way of saying old fashioned. And to me, like, mechanical watches especially has always been this thing that seems like completely superfluous, but then extremely intriguing. And me, as a person who appreciates that, I would call myself an anachronist. So yeah, just made up that word.
Oh, I like it. I'm going to shut up for a minute and let somebody else get a question in edgewise. Go ahead, panel. Who goes first?
If nobody has anything, I will say, Max, I watched all of your videos on your Cartier Santos journey, because and I was, I mean, it seemed to have gone on for a good long while. And where does your journey end at this point in terms of that particular watch? Where are you with the which one you have, if any? Would you think about buying, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them also? And
which is what he did.
Yeah. At the risk of making this chat 6 hours long, I started with the internet's favorite Santos, which is the modern Santos medium. But because of my OCD, just the amount of polish and the way that they kind of expanded that bezel felt like a little too much of a departure from the classic kind of square look for me. And so then I went and searched for vintage, neo-vintage Santai, and landed on the Galbé, which I think Galbé in French means like curved or something. I don't know. You guys can let me know. But that was, that had the kind of the square polished bezel that I was looking for. But then the Galbé in large, back in the day, or XL, the one that actually would fit my wrist well, had this date window cut out at kind of like the 430.
Yes.
And I think the designer was probably drunk when he did it, because it, like, cut into one of the numerals, but not parallel to the numeral. It cut like this way into one of the numerals, and I knew that was going to drive me crazy. So then, and then I looked at the Santos 100, which was one of those kind of releases they had for a few years. That was this beefy Santos that had loom and a crown guard, and that was fun. But some of you know that my house got broken into, and that was one of the watches that got taken. And so now, for better or worse, I'm back on the Cartier train. And actually, FedEx just dropped off a watch. Literally, I was standing outside my door, like, do I go talk to the Watch Hangout or do I wait for FedEx? And he he showed up. And that's, I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. And so if you guys want, we can add that to the unboxing later.
Heck
But
yeah.
it is
Hey,
not,
that'd be
Absolutely.
fantastic.
it is not a Santos, and it's not something that you can buy today. It's out of production.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
all
I
right.
had no idea that Cartier was showing up to your house today. I saw a look on your face like something had just happened. I do have to say that the content that you made around that journey happens to be some of my favorite. Cartier being either fortunately or unfortunately my favorite brand, and having a number of them. I can't wait to see what you'll be opening up later tonight.
No, the stars are aligning tonight.
For me too, I got exposed to your
do,
channel
do you
by
do you know why Cartier? I was going to say, do you know why Cartier remains number 2 in the Swiss watch market? It's because of Nate. It's because he buys all the Cartiers. How many Cartiers do you have, Nate?
Currently,
Yes, currently.
currently at 9.
9.
Can
There
you
go.
can you share with us kind of your what makes you such a fan?
I think that Cartier is absolutely the absolute master of design. That they create every single model, with the exception of a couple. I'm not a huge fan of the Ballon Bleu because it's impossible to wind, and the clay just didn't really do it for me. Although I've owned it before, I've owned both of those before. But with the exception of pretty much those two, I think that every design they have is timeless. I have no idea how they do it. I mean, again, but the tank in all of its varieties, the Santos in all of its varieties, and then the Santos Dumont in its varieties, I just think are these wonderful platforms on which they can build anything. So you have these timeless designs, and then they just do interesting things with the dials. Now, again, most of them are, standard white dial, black printing. But when they do something unusual with them, or out of the norm, it just takes it to an entirely new level. So I have a couple of Tank Americaines. I have 5 or 6 Dumonts. The extra large Dumont, which is the 34 by 46 that they released back in, I guess it was 2018, 2019 when they first came out with them, is my favorite piece, period. And then I have the large size Santos de Cartier, the current edition, and on the bracelet in rose gold, which is my favorite daily watch. So I just think it's timeless design, and just a platform for creativity when they want to get creative. And then every now and then they'll come up with the Tank Aguiche, which makes me think like the designer was drunk that day, the same way that your 430 date wheel on that Santos made you feel. So I'm looking forward to Watches and Wonders this year. They seem to be rotating in between Santos large and Santos Dumont large and extra large every other year. Last year was the extra large. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they come out with this year, because I'm sure it'll be something interesting.
So Blake, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go right ahead.
No, that's okay. For me too, it was interesting to see your kind of journey through like Bauhaus. You know, like I was on the fence of getting the Stern glass or the Young Hans, and then I mean I don't remember how long ago it was, but I remember seeing your video of you like at this like statue or something. Like you were like record the whole video like in public, like at a statue, and then I ended up getting the Max Bill
Yeah.
myself, and then now, thanks to you, I have 3 Max Bills.
Well done.
Send,
Yeah,
send him a bill.
Send
that
him a
was-
max bill. Thank you.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do we have sound effects?
Yeah.
I
no.
also,
We'll make sound effects for that one. Hey, Robert, Skylar Santana has a good question for Max in the chat.
Yeah, he wants to know what's coming next as far as material. You looking for any new materials or any of that kind of thing with the Zero Pass?
Yeah, well, let me, I'll get to that. Let me first kind of piggyback on because that reminded me, Blake, to like the early days of the channel when I was young and ambitious. Yeah, there's this great sculpture park down by the water at the Seattle waterfront. And this was like in the height of the pandemic when people were afraid to go outside. And so it was perfect to start a YouTube channel because you could just grab a tripod, set it up, and start talking to nobody. And I remember getting there super early because I'm kind of shy. I'm kind of an introvert. I really don't like people around. Which is why when YouTubers like vlog and they're just walking on the street, I'm always looking at the person like walking behind them, just cringing for them. But so I set up my tripod at like 6 a.m, and then this homeless woman starts to kind of bathe herself just beyond the camera, and I'm trying to make this YouTube video and get my line straight, and she is she's doing her thing, and and that was probably the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this indoors from now on. There's just too many variables here.
I was wearing my Seamaster soccer timer this morning, and then I knew that you were coming on the stream. I was like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't wear that considering like
Bad memories.
yeah.
It's all right, watches come and go. That's life. Yeah.
So
but Skylar, yeah. Skylar, good friend, and still, I think, on the banner, featured on the banner with his handsome face on our Discord group. And what's coming for the Zero Pass? Well, like what I didn't kind of anticipate was just like the business side of trying to sell products on the internet, which has been definitely a learning process. Customer service is no joke. And, I was just texting with somebody, before we came on, like, hey, did you mean to order this little thing with your order? Do you want me to give you a refund for that? And so that's, so I've gotten some buddies to help with that. But one of the things about the trying to ship products all over the world, especially in the age of tariffs, is that there are more barriers, and we have, I would say, in terms of sales, it would be the U.S. About 50%, and then it would just be like Canada and then all the European countries, and I've kind of played with the idea of having like a European supplier, but recently I had a guy from Hungary reach out. He has a strap company called Phenom Straps. They're not huge, but you may have heard of them. And his kind of tagline is like, made in Europe, high quality, and this goes back to sort of this idea of spring bar breakage, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit confusing because this is a spring bar, right? But the other place where there's a spring bar is actually in the in the buckle. And a lot of people don't know that your buckle is also held on by a spring bar. So you can
Yeah.
have redundancy here, but this can still break, right? And so his whole thing is like he has like a solid buckle made in Europe, and he reached out and he was like, I really want to kind of collaborate and maybe license the idea. And so I'm working with him to potentially have him make some zero passes in Europe to serve that market, and but also differentiated enough so that he kind of brings his flavor and his style into the strap, so that we're not just kind of doubling up on the product.
That's nice. Hey,
Cool.
have you thought of full precious metal sapphire studded keepers on there?
Oh,
I'm
God.
thinking.
Here he comes. Our gym client is asking for gems.
Yeah. We'll make a zero pass purely for Cartiers.
There you go.
Sounds perfect.
Canadian Watch Monkey wanted me to ask you if you remember a crazy Canadian that showed up at your watch meetup in Vancouver. That would be kind of difficult because weren't there all crazy Canadians? Because it's in Vancouver.
Yeah, it was definitely a circus when we went up there, and we have to do it again, maybe for the April show.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Mitch, you're next on the hit parade. What kind of questions do you have for our friend Max?
Yeah, Max, we've never met. I'm currently in exile in Missouri, even though I lived most of my life in New York and the San Francisco Bay Area. Just curious, what actually got you interested in watches in the first place?
Well, it was so I was in residency for neurology, and I had no, this was in medical school in New York. Yeah, so medical school in New York, I suddenly got this urge that I wanted to wear something on my wrist, probably because just how dainty, girly my wrists were. And so I went hunting for a watch, and I don't like, you probably have this experience, like reflecting on before you got into watches. It was sort of, and this was kind of before YouTube and kind of dissemination of easily digestible kind of information on the internet. And so I just kind of went to like a mall or something and found this big kind of diesel abomination. And
that was good on your what do you have, 6.5 inch wrist? That was beautiful.
yeah, I've been doing a lot of wrist exercises, but I was wearing that watch a few years later, and I was in sort of the administrative offices of my school, and one of the guys turned around, and he's like, "What's on your wrist?" I showed it to him, and I saw this look of despair kind of befall him, and I realized that he was extremely disappointed, and so then I kind of asked him for sagely advice. And I was like, well, he's like, you should get a real watch. And I said, you give me a recommendation. He said, go get yourself a Seiko before you come back and talk to me.
No, jeez.
That was how things.
It could have gotten much worse. He could have said, have you ever heard of Invicta? You could buy 2 and get 8 free.
That's true. Yeah, he didn't decide to destroy my watch journey from the beginning.
I quietly think my doctor's a watch guy because he always has like a different Seiko every time I go in. But I always am thinking is he a watch guy? Is he a watch guy? So every time I go to my doctor's office, I'm always wearing something different, and he's never once said anything. And I'm trying to get him to say something about it.
I think the onus is on you, Blake, to bring it up.
Is it?
I think it's in the Hippocratic Oath not to talk about watches with your patients.
Is it?
And he would know. Max would know.
That's why I was like, is it against ethical practices for him to say, Dude, nice watch.
I've
Like,
definitely sort of lost track of my thoughts
reached
because
your
my
oaths.
patient, yeah, I had a patient who was wearing a Seamaster 300. I think it's like the trilogy one, and that watch is like real shiny, and and I just remember trying to stay on track, but all I wanted to do was talk about his watch.
You know, in my case, growing up, I really didn't think about watches. They were this thing you sort of had to have to tell the time, and you sort of the cheapest thing that your parents bought you, or then you bought for yourself. It
Mhm.
wasn't until I accidentally ran into a jewelry store in Menlo Park, California, to look for something for my wife at the time, and found out that they were really a watch store, and found out there was a lot more to watches than just being something to tell the time. And this is before cell phones. This was back in 2000 when cell phones were sort of an oddity as opposed to something that everyone and his brother had. And once I found out that there was a lot more to this than just a tool for keeping track of the time, which other things can do better than 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 watches like phones or quartz. That's when I really got intrigued and went down the rabbit hole.
I had a
Just an
conversation. It's funny that you say that from before, Blake. When I met my last surgeon for the first time, and I'm in his office, and I was wearing I'm trying to remember it was the 52 Patek 5205 annual calendar, and I have a deployant clasp on it, and he comes in. I swear, I think he's wearing some Patek, and he comments on mine and then shows me, and then we wound up getting into he's wearing a 5167 Rose, and then I realized this is probably going to cost me a lot more than I thought it was.
How much is going to go back to your insurance versus out of pocket?
Yeah, exactly. I wound up with I think that I got billed for the like long appointment, because there's different ones, a different coding for a 30-minute or less appointment, the 30 to 60 and the 60 and above. So I know I was billed that day for the complex appointment, although I think a good 45 minutes of it was talking watch collecting.
Yeah,
But
there are a host of differences between surgeons and sort of medical doctors that are on the other side, and I guess we can add whether you can afford a Patek to that list.
so
yeah, he was reconstructive, so he did some other more cosmetic things on the side as well. Probably went with the Bentley that was in the space downstairs at the building.
there you
Yeah,
go.
I've had a lot of people tell me that it'd be much easier to just make a neurology YouTube channel instead of a watch YouTube channel. Um, but and I tend to agree. I think there's all the time there's celebrities coming down with neurologic diseases. Like this past week, I think we just had that gentleman die of ALS. Bruce Willis has primary progressive aphasia. You had like Celine Dion with stiff person syndrome, and I'm just like, I teach these things to students all day long, and people are like, why don't you just put up some YouTube videos? But yeah, again, like, I don't really want to be thinking about medicine after a day of seeing patients, and
Yeah.
so I'll stick to watches.
It's funny you say that because a guy in my watch club here, he's a doctor and he has a YouTube channel, 1.8 million subscribers, and it's all medical
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah, I think we live in a world of experts, right? When the denominator is 6 billion people, you're not going to go and watch the 300th most knowledgeable person about a subject. You're just going to go and find you know, the 99.99 percentile folks. And so, yeah, there's a lot of very successful doctor YouTube channels that I follow.
So a good question here. How much is too much for a watch? And boy, that like can open a whole can of worms. Max, do you want to start with your thoughts on that? How much is too much for a watch?
I think there's a couple of variables that come to mind for me. That question I think comes up in everybody's minds when they buy watches. For me, you know, you have kind of budget creep as you mature within the hobby. What's interesting though is I feel like you know, you get to a certain point and then you get the watches and you realize it's kind of personal. Like, what are you getting out of the watch? Like, if you just need a time telling device, you don't need more than $30, right? But I think, are you buying a watch because of its finishing? Are you buying a watch because of its movement? Are you buying a watch because of history? So I think that's a very, very personal question. It depends on, you know, what you can comfortably afford as well. So I think for me personally, if you follow my channel, I tend to land somewhere in the kind of $3,000 to $10,000 range. And not to say that things can change, but for me, I love, you know, I love wearing a Tudor. I love wearing a Cartier. Yeah, I think that's different for everybody.
And of course, George is here, our resident lover of IWC. Not really. Max is owning one IWC, way too much. Thank you, George, for the $2 super chat. George can't stand IWC. What do you think of IWC, Max?
Yeah, that question is formulated in a way that it's can be interpreted differently. So I have a IWC Spitfire, and I have put that watch on the Mark 18 bracelet. And for me, that's sort of the perfect combo. The difference between the Spitfire and like the Mark, you know, 20 is mainly, well, the movement, but also that the Mark, that the Spitfire has a little bit of Fotina, which I'm a fan of. And so that watch is like, if you're like, I'll give you 5 seconds to run into a burning house and save one watch, then you have to wear that watch for the rest of your life on a deserted island where you only drink coconut juice. I'd probably pick that watch. It's so unpretentious. It's so kind of aesthetically pleasing. It's so thin. And with that bracelet and that clasp with the kind of the button that you push for adjustment, it's just so easy to wear. Yeah.
Max, I just wanted to let you know that George wants his $2 back now.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think that was the way he wanted me to answer that question.
We have a question asked and answered. The question: arachnophobia is a fear of spiders. What is the fear of IWC? Answered: Schaffhausen phobia. Thank you so much, chat. We can always count on you guys.
Wow.
Oh my God. Jen, what's your questions for Max?
After the situation of having people break into your home, how has it been trying to get back into watches?
Yeah, it was a tumultuous time. I had sort of an inkling that something was happening because there were signs sort of in and around, like around my unit where people were coming and maybe scoping around. And so I'd started to kind of hide things and relocate things. And so, but by the nature of like having a watch YouTube and whatnot, and loving watches, like you're just gonna have a bunch of watches out, right? It doesn't like unless
Yeah.
you just are in it for the investment. Like there's just gonna be yeah, there's watches just littered. There was watches on like the kitchen table, there were watches in the bedroom, and but luckily they didn't get everything because I'd moved some things already, and I had already kind of done some security measures. But it was tough because they took all the vintage watches, which I had about a dozen vintage watches. I was in the process of filming, like the soccer timer from Omega, like the Porsche design chronograph from the Top Gun movies, and just a lot of things that were watches. Like there was a Wachman chronograph that I
Oh.
literally never seen before. It was like a one of one to me. So good luck to them for trying to if they try to sell it, because hopefully somebody will recognize it. But so for a couple of weeks, I was like, is this worth it? Like, I'm not doing YouTube for money. This is just a creative outlet for me. And
Yeah.
and like, what's the point, if I'm going to be inviting all this negative attention? And I actually talked to one of my friends who is a police officer.
Oh wow.
And he kind of talked me off the ledge. He spent a
Okay.
couple hours on the phone with me. He's like, listen, like, this is the deal. This is how it looks from the other side, who these guys could be, how they operate. And he's like, at the end of the day, do you want them to win?
Yeah.
And I think that was the unlock for me when he said that, which is like, crossing the street is dangerous, right? So so I spent about 3 or 4 months just layering security, everything I can think of, and then just trying to kind of get back to normalcy. And so yeah, we're still out here making YouTube videos. I think we get some snarky comments on our videos,
Yeah.
still referring to the break-in and whatnot. It is a sore subject, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think how you bounce back is probably a better measure of who you are as a person.
Yeah, because I mean, hearing that, and it's happened to enough people recently that it has, I mean, I don't have anything near what some of you guys have, but it has even made me think twice about, what I'm showing on Instagram. Do I want everybody to see my collection? Do I want them to know everything that's in there so that when they come into my house, they know exactly what to go look for? And, you know, I- there is a story that there's a possibility that a very well known collector had their place broken into and they sold what the people left and got out. And that's heartbreaking to me. One, because this person was a fantastic human being. I've never heard anything bad about this person from anybody that has ever met them. They're extremely low key, never show their face or anything like that. And I mean, they just, and if that's the case, if that really did happen, that's horrible. And they had pieces like pieces that you'll never see again. Took them forever just to find them. And I have to commend you for getting back on the horse and saying, you know what, this happened, but I'm not gonna let this get the best of me. I'm gonna allow it to create space for something new, be it modding tutors like a wild man or other such activities.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I've people have kind of come forward and shared with me their stories ever since this has happened, and I have to say it's extremely common. And so for those listening, definitely think about measures you can take, and really the mental shift for me before it was always about oh, like, let's make sure nobody can get into my house. Let's, God forbid, somebody breaks in. And really, I think the better mindset is what happens if somebody gets in my house. Because, I mean, look, I'm not saying thieves are as smart as like Ocean's 11 or whatnot, but it depends on kind of the level of crime that we're dealing with. And
Right.
at some point, you know, like museums get broken into, right?
Yeah.
And so, so I think about, okay, like if a stranger comes into your house, and you know, they can even use real estate apps to know the layout of the inside of your house,
Yeah.
right? And so, so if they come in, like, how do I stall? How do I have a system where police are contacted, and then how do I stall them long enough that they
get
either
caught.
get caught or they leave out of frustration, right?
Right.
So that's what I mean by sort of layering your security. And just, I
Yeah.
know it's a really kind of icky thought, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I came home and I was really confused because one of my pillows was naked. And then I realized they had taken off a pillowcase
Oh, wow.
with watches in. Because, you know, again, I just had a lot of watches littered around.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's a horrible thought that somebody's in your bedroom, you know, like taking off your bedding. But you know, either sort of face the facts, or you know, face the music, right? So so yeah, I think hard about security. I think there is really very little privacy on the internet anymore, so take preventative measures.
Drop a
We have a
1,500-pound safe in the middle of your house and use that as a place to keep your watches.
Yeah.
And good luck to them trying to get it out.
and then lift that safe above your door, so when they come through the door, the safe drops on them. That's what you do.
I literally just posted like a state of the collection video, and I said it to my friend, and he's like, "Bro, like you just put yourself out there, bro, like as a target." And I'm like, "Dude, I've got 2 safes in my house, but all the watches are in the bank. So go freaking rob Chase. Good luck." And I have seen Home Alone plenty of times. Let's go.
Well, you've also got 3 crazy dogs, Blake. So
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You
You want
do.
to get bitten by a beagle? Come on, or a pit bull?
A beagle, that's
choice.
right.
Oh, the pit bull.
Yeah. Woo. We've got some questions from the chat. Max, what are your thoughts on Longa and the quiet but steady hyping of the brand from a few big dealers in the last month?
Wow. I might kick that question to one of you guys who have maybe a little more of the tea on this one.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I love Longa as a brand. It's not one that I'll ever be able to afford, but I think they make beautiful watches, certainly well built. Some of the finest watches in the world. But
if I owned one, I'd probably just wear it backwards.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah,
So-
I noticed. So people see the movement.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've owned 3 Longa ones over the time that I'm collecting, and I own none of them at this moment. Everybody always talks about, wearing the watch backwards so you can look at the movement. It's only a couple of Longas. I'm just saying. The other ones, it's like 90% plate on the back, and yes, there's a beautiful, swan neck regulator, balance cock that's been, hand engraved and whatnot. That's like this little tiny piece compared to the rest of it. To go to Vimal's question, I've seen it too. There have been a couple of, very large secondary market, institutional dealers that have been, I think slowly accumulating, in particular, Zeitworks, frankly, and a number of the older Longas that came on bracelets or had bracelets as accessories. And I think they're just, they're trying the next thing. There have been a number of those dealers that pumped up the FP market to redeem.
at the conventional market equilibrium or conventional market forces that have been present in the watch industry change dramatically as they have over the last few years. I think you're going to find more watch brands as well as the people who love them in the secondary market, like the 1916 company, trying all sorts of new strategies to generate more revenue that don't involve selling more watches.
They go look at their inventory and just see what they have the most of. All right, cool. That's what we're going to talk about. So all the watch YouTubers are conveniently watch dealers, right?
Well, I've noticed the 1916 company's inventory in the last year has continued to shrink. And
Well,
so,
it's the inventory they have on their website that has continued to shrink,
right.
but they are still putting out amazing content. I mean, I've become friendly with Tim Masso over the years, and I consume his content constantly. And the number of watches that he will do videos on, or that they will have in their collector conversations or whatever is going on, that are not on the website, because they don't have to price them then, and they're just waiting for I think they're just waiting for people to contact them from the content, and then they start figuring out and talking price. Because if they start getting tons of calls off of a particular piece, I mean, it suddenly becomes, it's like lobster on the menu. There's no price attached to it. It's just market pricing.
Nate, that's only true for the Longas and Journes and de Bethunes and Pateks of the world. They're not doing that with Oris.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that they've moved away from a lot of those lower priced watches into more consolidated, into the higher end brands where they have a much better ability to set market pricing on a day-to-day basis sometimes.
It's another corollary of the whale strategy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of questions from Marine that I'm going to go through quick, and we'll just ask the questions and then let everybody respond. First, what is your most pretentious watch? And then Marine also wanted to know about watch insurance. Do we have our watches insured? And then, of course, what is everyone's favorite Seiko, and why is it the Alpinist? Mine is not the Alpinist, it's the Turtle. Thank you very much. It's the Turtle. It's the only correct answer in this room. Max, let's start with your most, I guess, pretentious watch, and go from there. And I know watch insurance is something you talked about in your video of the theft, but we can start to talk about that too.
My most pretentious watch. I have to say that's probably not a criteria that I use when I purchase my watches.
Yeah, me neither.
I've done a few collaborations with brands over the years, and some of you might even own some of those watches if you were kind of, fans of back in the Watch Crunch days. And I'm currently working with Tom at Clemens Watches to develop a special model based on their Photic diver, and that's going to be available to the Discord members. And so I guess that's kind of a vanity project for me. Again, I was a failed engineer, so I'm not going to go build a watch, but I can certainly give constructive feedback to somebody who does build watches, and maybe we can, come up with some special models. And so, yeah, this will be the third collab watch, and hopefully there's more to come.
Very cool. And on the watch insurance question, you were insured, correct?
That's not all the way, because
Okay.
you have to sort of, you can't just like insure $100,000 collection or whatnot. You have to tell them exactly what watches you want to put on the policy. And because so many watches come and go, again, through the nature of what we're doing, Some watches were not insured. So I would just say, unless you're a crazy person like me, where you're constantly sending watches away and receiving watches, take the watches that you are not going to sell. Call your homeowner's insurance and put them on your policy. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then as far as the Seiko question, I think we might start a civil war here if we start to talk about the best Seiko or the most iconic Seiko. I do love the Alpinist. I think that watch looks better in pictures than it wears, though.
Okay.
The case shape is just a little awkward, where it's not like a watch that really just wants to sit down. Like this watch, it's flat on the wrist. The Alpinist always feels like it's a little bit wobbly. But I think it's a beautiful watch, and absolutely up there in the top 3 for me.
Yeah, my dad, when I was a kid, wore a Pogue, so I would do the original, not the current one, but the original Pogue would certainly be up there. We have a question here from again George, $5. Thank you, George. Would you recommend to a friend to buy an IWC as their first watch? Asking for a friend.
Yes, George. Yes, we would.
Yeah, I think I'm not really privy to the kind of IWC undercurrents within this chat, but
I'm not either.
We often ask him to please show us on the doll where the IWC hurt you, and he has not answered as of yet.
First, second, and 10th watch that you buy.
Yeah. If I were to recommend somebody a first watch, especially if they're young and just getting into it, I would do what you were recommended. Go get a Seiko.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Do you remember? I bet you do. What was the Seiko that you bought at your?
It was a SARB 033 on the recommendations of Hugo the dinosaur.
Very good.
That's the black dial one, right?
That's the black dial. Of course, I modded it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
It's like how many people that are watch collectors or YouTube either creators or participants or just constant viewers can say that a Sarbo 17, a Sarbo 33, or Sarbo 35 were not one of the first 5 or 6 mechanical watches that they wound up getting.
Even in retrospect, right? I think that was like a golden age of Seikos. I remember my buddy, because I had the 033, the black dial, kind of dressy one. My buddy had the 017 Alpinist, and he was like, "Dude, I got this off of Amazon for like $335 out the door." And if we had a time machine, I'd probably go back and buy 10 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
2018, 2019 was a really fun time to pick up those watches in the 300s. And then well before COVID, those things were suddenly $800 and $900 on Amazon and eBay. And it's like, what the heck happened? And Hugo the dinosaur.
I had my regrets. I had my regrets, went on eBay, bought another 017. It turned out to be a fake.
Oof.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Another 5 from George. Max, I'm considering an Invicta Reserve versus IWC. Yes, the Invicta Reserve for you, George, only for you, would be the correct choice.
Mm-hmm.
George,
can I add one more thing on the insurance? Yeah, George had one bad experience at IWC and apparently suffered PTSD after that.
George has a De Bethune and a Richard Mille, so he's add that into the equation there.
Yeah.
He's just
okay.
bitter.
Robert, can I add one thing about the insurance? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you saying, Nate?
So the other, and Max talked about putting things on your homeowner's insurance. I'm gonna plug a company. I have no relationship with them whatsoever, other than the fact that I'm a policyholder. But if you contact European Watch Company right now, they are actually selling, the Chubb insurance for watches, and they allow
good.
you to both have scheduled watches where you identify specific pieces, as well as blanket policy for an amount that covers your jewelry and watches. It's actually turned out to be a heck of a lot more reasonable than what I was paying previously. And like Max said, I have watches that are coming in and out of my collection on a pretty darn frequent basis, as everybody knows.
Daily.
And not necessarily daily. And if that is, it's mostly because of this person I know called the enabler. I wonder who that is, Jen. But you can both schedule the pieces that are more valuable, so that they'll cover in excess. They'll cover market price, not merely what you've paid for them. And then you can just sort of have the blanket policy. So I've combined and am combining, because I'm finalizing it later this week again, a mix of the two. And it winds up being, between 1.5% and 2% of your collection value. And if you go and schedule your most important pieces, so that has you don't need to get those appraised. You give them the information, you send them a picture. It winds up getting that kind of coverage, and then you give them the list of other things just so that they know what to put under the blanket policy. And then that stuff can change. So if you don't want to put your $2,000 watches with its own separate schedule, you can just put, $100,000 and cover, my wife's jewelry, some of the, watches that are $500 to $3,500 in value that are in the collection, and then have like the more major pieces that are harder to replace, individually scheduled. So yeah, homeowners insurance is excellent. But as a insurance defense lawyer, at one point in my life, there are lots of defenses that the insurance companies will try to utilize to not pay you out. And having the separate jewelry policy from a place like Jewelers Mutual or Chubb or things like that is something that I think that people that have sizable collections, or collections that don't necessarily have a huge amount of monetary value, but have some real sentimental value, like a vintage piece that's been in your family for 50 or 60 years, that it would be impossible to replace that exact watch, but you can get that reference again if there's ever a problem. Those kinds of policies provide you pretty decent protection. I think mine's going to cost me about $3,000 a year, maybe a little bit more, but it winds up being, at least in my mind, worth it. In addition to the 1,500-pound safe. So,
and one last one from George, and then we're going to get to unboxings. Max, I contacted Chubb and asked how much to insure an IWC. My agent laughed. It wasn't because of the IWC, George. It was because you were on the phone. I keep telling you these things.
And by the way, Max, you're
George,
100% correct about the Mark 18 bracelet. Far and away the best and most comfortable steel bracelet I've ever had on a watch. And the push button on the IWC logo for the quick release is outstanding.
Yeah. No taper though.
So we've got
no taper.
We've got 3 unboxings to do this evening. Max, since you are our guest, we're going to save you for last, because I think yours is going to be very cool. I would say you might want to get it out of the FedEx box so you don't dox yourself by accidentally showing the label. But we'll have Max do his unboxing. We've also got unboxings from Mitch and from Nate. We will remind you that we will be doing a race at the end of the show. So if you want to get in the race, you know how to do that. So please get those super chats, member chats. You can join the channel and get a race entry as well. And if you join the channel, that also gets you into the WhatsApp group with the rest of us nutcases. So let's see, Mitch, would you like to go first this evening, or Nate, do you want to go first?
Why the hell not? Age before beauty, Mitch.
And I'm I am always the oldest one.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I would say not for long, but actually, you're going to always be older than me, Mitch.
Yeah. If we were doing a Passover Seder, I would never have to do the 4 questions.
Mhm.
But that's
That's
not
right.
it.
And there's a reference that approximately 6 people in the chat are going to get.
Mitch, you're also
So-
the most beautiful in the group. So, I mean, either way, you are going to have to go first. So,
Yes, well, age before beauty or whatever.
Very true.
Well, let's see what. Speaking of hotness, let's see what new hotness you got for your wrist.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, and
Look at
Max
that
just turned his
stack he's
camera off
got
because
back
that
there.
joke was so crappy.
this is a
Oh,
rectangular blue box.
okay.
I
Yeah.
see some Japanese shit on the bottom of it.
Oops.
Whoops.
You're too quick. All right, so it is a
Ooh.
Ooh.
Grand
Oh,
all
Seiko.
Instant giveaway.
lovely Japanese wrapping paper.
Rice
Texture.
paper.
Very fun.
Mhm.
Sweet.
Better
I do-
than your average paper.
Dude, funny story. When I sold watches, I sold a Grand Seiko, and I didn't even know shit about the rice paper, and I threw it away. Like I put it in the
Oh
trash
no.
can.
How dare you?
And then the guy was like, "Where's the rice paper?" I was like, "It's in the trash can. You want me to go get
All
it?"
right,
He's
so-
like, "Yeah."
Yet another box. This one will fit right into my recent tendency to obtain watches with interesting movements. So we have here, and this comes from the land of Uncle Marco.
Okay. See if I can get rid of the glare here. The Grand Seiko Spring Drive chronograph. Ooh.
That's pretty damn cool.
Ooh, nice.
very nice.
That is
Now,
cool.
I had one of these a long time ago, but it was when the Spring Drive chronographs had these enormous and ugly pushers that look like warts.
Is that a GMT also?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so
That's
GT
pretty cool.
chrono.
And it is.
Yeah, it does everything.
It does everything. It doesn't do the dishes.
Not yet.
I mean,
Yeah, but you got a wife for that.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Says
you
the
really-
single man.
the movement
Oh,
is
nice.
very nicely decorated. Really can't see it, but.
is that
but,
titanium?
Yes.
Okay.
So it weighs less than you might think. So
Well, con-
I think this is it. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys so you can see it here.
Let's see it on your wrist.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
let me take off the Navy SEAL.
while he's putting that on his wrist, we want to thank Silicon Hairspring for the member chat member for 30 months. Great show tonight, guys. Thanks for joining us on the greatest Tuesday night watch show, Max. Yeah, I want to thank Max for coming on. This is cool. This is
Yeah,
like
it's
his
a lot of fun.
one Tuesday off a month, and he's spending it with us.
It's got the
Beautiful.
blue bezel on it.
Yep.
Nice.
And a dark blue dial.
Hmm.
That is fantastic.
I actually
Congratulations, man. What a great watch.
Yeah. And I sort of figured this would be the case, but this particular model is so unpopular that I was able to get it new for less than Marco originally said he could give me when he went back and checked.
Well, our friend Marco at Burdeen's can cut you a deal.
That
He's
he
of course
can.
one of our channel sponsors, so we'd like to all go to the Burdeen's website, and you can contact Marco on his Instagram, and he can get you whatever you want. Mitch, beautiful watch. Thank you so much. That's
Fantastic.
I love that. That's awesome.
Congrats, Mitch.
Thank you.
So we've got our Yiddish Liberwatchy, our gem set client.
There are no gems.
Nate.
There are no gems on this watch tonight.
Oh
For once.
no. How could you deign to even buy a watch without a diamond on it?
I know it's a purple Invicta again.
Yeah, great.
So
Plastic.
yeah, exactly. So quick story about this one, because I think that it's sort of maybe it's a new trend going on. So I was down in Miami last weekend, went into a boutique that I've purchased a couple things from before, not like a major client or anything along those lines. And I saw a watch in the window with an exhibition only sign directly under it. And I walked in and said to the salesperson that I've worked with before, she's a real wonderful person, so is the manager there. Hey, I've really wanted that piece since it first came out. I know it's not on my list compared to some other pieces, but is there any possible way that I would be able to buy that and take it home with me today? And shockingly, they said yes. So
Whoa.
today we've got a green box.
Green box.
Rolex.
Buy the Rolex.
You sure it has a
And-
movement inside?
It
Oh,
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 well,
Cut
you know
him out.
what? He's
Okay,
opening a
oh,
Rolex
no.
and he just goes bye-bye.
if it's not on webcam, we can't watch him drop it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
true.
true.
He tends to drop watches when he's doing unboxing.
Nine out of 10
He's
unboxings is a drop.
he's coming back on.
Don't ask me what happened. I have no idea.
it's the ghost of
Let me
Hans
get you.
Wilsdorf.
Yeah, it's the ghost of Hans Wilsdorf. Maybe he really was a Nazi. So
Jesus.
Oh God!
Are we
And there goes Nate
demonetized?
again. Oh
Are
man,
we-
where'd you go this
Are we
time?
demonetized?
so
Probably.
it's not going to fall, but it is the
Wow.
Lavender.
lavender OP41.
Nice.
Cool.
Very nice.
I called the minute I saw that initial article saying that they were expanding out the OP, the colored, the new pastel colors into the 41 mil. I called this AD and said, "Oh, just want to let you know they're going to. We were talking about it the other week. They're actually going to do the pink and the purple in the 41 millimeter size." And she says, "Nathaniel, I don't see anything online about that in any way, shape, or form." I go, "Just you wait." And 2 months later, they happen to have this one in the window, and they sold it to me on the day, which I've had many OP41s, and I have a couple right now. This one is absolutely my favorite color of all of them. This sort of pastel lavender purple. It's just,
So good.
It's good to see Rolex.
Yeah,
having some
that
fun.
really
I'm
is.
hoping to get the pink one.
Yeah.
But man, is this just it's just and being in South Florida, it's just a fantastic piece. And the 41 millimeter, by the way, it is not a 41. I know I said this when I got the Med Blue a few months ago. When I first tried them on, I'm like, "Are you sure this isn't the 36?" And they said, no, it's the 41. And I have measured it with the calipers. The OP41 is now back to the 39 millimeter size that the previous was. So it's 38.9 millimeters.
They're measuring the.
Is that
crown,
the
too.
level? Is that the level of precision they're working with in the factory?
I think that they just basically said that they're keeping the OP41 name, but screw it, they're just going back to the more traditional 39 millimeter size.
It's like the Porsche Taycan Turbo.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yes, that's exactly what it's like. But yeah, I'm real happy with this one. I was shocked that I was able just to walk in and get it, which is, just much more surprising at the moment, especially for a model that just got released 2 months ago. And another reason why this is honestly the best AD or best boutique I've worked with, other than Cartier. This is, the other boutique that I will send all of my business. So
irresistible charm.
yeah, definitely not that. Nor is it a humongous spend history either.
No,
I've gotten one
No,
other. I
definitely
got
not
one other
charm.
OP. Yeah, definitely not charm. I've gotten one other OP from them, and I got one other watch, or actually two other watches, a Tudor and another Rolex. So it's not like I'm some big client that they need to, do something for. So I just appreciated it, and I'm happy to have it.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thanks.
We're going to have Max's unboxing in a second. Just want to remind you, if you want to get into the race, we're going to do the race right after Max's unboxing. So get in now or forever hold your peace. You got pretty good chances tonight because what do we got? We only have 4 entries so far, and we'll put in one or two at the end of the race, at the end of the show, of folks that have been active in the chat. But if you want to be assured of an entry, you've got to get it in pretty darn quick, because we've got one unboxing from our friend Max, who just got it in today, and he hasn't. You haven't even seen this yourself yet, right?
No, I literally just took it out of the box. That's why my video was off briefly. But this is the Cartier that hopefully will replace the Santos 100. Drum roll. Oh no, there's another cover.
Oh, very nice Roadster.
Roadster.
Very nice.
Nice.
Good choice.
Wow.
Excellent eBay purchase.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen those boxes. I've seen those boxes before.
Yeah, it was. At least we know it's authentic, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was. There was a gentleman on Instagram, and he kept posting this watch with the leather strap, and he eventually got me. So we'll see if this one sticks around. It's 39 millimeters supposedly, which I thought might be challenging for my wrist, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, that actually looks really good.
Yeah.
I don't think that's 39 across though. Isn't that more? That's got to be less than that. I don't even think that like the extra large were that big.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, it's not a small watch. It wears, if anything, a little bit bigger than the Santos 100, which was a beefy cake. But it looks like there's no gaps, so I think we're good.
No, it's a great piece. Did it? Do you have the quick release for the other? Do you have the other strap also? Or are you going to pick up one of those? Because these they should all have the quick release mechanism. I think that the Roadster was the first Cartier to implement that. So there's tons of straps, including from third-party providers. Got a proprietary type mechanism in there. I think like Liger straps, Deluxe, and a couple of other ones will make for that model. And you get 100 different looks out of it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. I have to, obviously there's going to be a video that's associated with this, and the video is going to be titled, because you have to clickbait everything on YouTube now, three Cartiers I love that are not the Santos.
Heck yeah.
Wow, I don't know if I could do that video.
I was going to say with special guest star Nate, but now you leave him out.
You can collaborate with Nate on how your Santos Dumont can wear a zero pass nylon strap.
Actually, it's already been done. If you know Enthused Dad on Instagram, he did it, and I think he started a trend.
I have to go do that, because I went and specifically found, my philosophy is that every watch is a sports watch if you could put it on a rubber strap. And I went and found rubber straps for the Santos that would fit on the Santos Dumont. Granted, I had to take a scissors and sort of cut the edges a little bit so it would fit into that proprietary spring bar. But yeah, I tormented my Cartier boutique manager by showing him platinum Santos Dumont on a bright red rubber strap.
You know, my good friend Josh, who you probably might have seen on the channel, he loves dress watches and he loves to trigger people by wearing zero passes with them. So JLCs and Cartiers on zero passes, you can get the NATO look without the NATO bulk, and that's the last
Ooh.
plug I'll make.
Do you have wait? Do they come in a 22 mil size? Because I have a rose gold reverso duo face that I think I may
18,
need to get
20,
one of
and
these.
22s all day.
Boom.
You might have to custom make a gold or platinum buckle for Nate, though.
Yeah, I'll bedazzle
you
it.
know, you know that Nate is now gone to shopping mode because he turns his head to the screen and puts his hand like that, and that means he's shopping.
When he looks to the left, he's shopping.
Yeah, that's the shopping right there.
I'm not going to say that I have the real up now. Looking at a Patek 5111 or anything like that, but I might.
Yeah, that's Nate gone into shopping mode right there. We all know the look. And speaking of which, IWC appreciates the free advertising. George, $2 from Nate, and your friend Mikey, $5. I really enjoy Max's channels. Good to see him on the Hangout. Yeah, thank you, man. We'll have Max back again. I don't think we've irritated him that much, but we haven't worked that hard.
There will be a short refractory period after this.
Yes.
We have to leave everybody on a cliffhanger. So I see that you have PVD buckles, but I don't see that you have titanium buckles. What's up with that?
Okay. Yeah, like if we get an upswell of requests, anything is possible.
18 karat rose gold coming next week.
Oh God, here we go.
You already have a request.
You got to put. Yeah, no, you got to put some diamonds on it too, though.
Diamond to the strap, please.
Diamond. Yeah. Is there a diamond to the stage? Diamond.
You forgot me.
Mitch, what did I forget?
You forgot to put me in the race.
I did. Well, I haven't put anybody in the race yet.
He was deleting the last names.
Just watch this.
All right, because it looked like there were names there. I mean,
yeah, there's always test names there. I usually delete them first, but there is everybody we have in the race. So let's. I know that I want to put E-Marine in because
they were asking about it and they hung out.
Yeah, and is there anybody else we want to add, or is that it?
Throw Skylar in there.
Okay. Put Canadian Watch Monkey because he asked. He asked nicely.
All right, we've got our race entries. Just to let you know, Max, what we're doing at the end of every show, we do a race. The winner of the nightly race gets into a monthly race at the end of every month. The winner of the monthly race wins a small prize, but then all winners of the monthly race get into the yearly race at the end of the year, where you can win big prizes. So that kind of explains that. We've got 44 seconds on the clock. We're just racing horses tonight because I'm boring and didn't want to look for anything else. And here we go. Everybody even as usual.
Since the race has already started, I don't know if this is allowed, but I'd like to contribute a free Zero Pass strap to the winner of tonight's race.
Oh, there you go. All right. So the winner of tonight's race gets a free Zero Pass strap. Silicon Hairspring right now is in the lead, but we'll see if that holds up. See, everybody's starting to fade, but Silicon Hairspring's still up there.
It's a lot more on the line
usually somebody comes in and slingshot through. But here we go. Here comes Nate. Here comes your friend Mikey. Here comes Skylar and E-Marine and Anteater.
Canadian Watch Monkey.
Nope, Anteater. Boy, that's like a photo finish. Anteater, you get a free Zero Pass strap. So Anteater, contact me because I know Anteater, you're in the WhatsApp group. Contact me directly from the WhatsApp group. Let me know your information and I will pass it on to Max. Okay. Congratulations, Anteater. You are tonight's winner. I want to thank Max again. Max, stick around. We'll say bye officially in the back room. But we do want to thank you publicly here for being on the stream tonight and joining us. Go get some counseling, and then once your counseling sessions are done, come back and join us again.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been very pleasurable, and I will be happy to come back.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Max, thank you so much. We'll see you guys later. Again, we'll be back again next Tuesday with who knows what. Until then, wear your